The continent of North America is home to a large and varied array of big game species. Some have adapted to man's intrusion into their traditional ranges and even thrive in close proximity to man. Yet some species have been designed as inhabitants of true wilderness, where vast, unspoiled tracts of wildness provide both seclusion and sanctuary. Few areas in all of Alaska boast a higher population of these great carnivores than the area around the small fishing village of Yakutat. Located on the panhandle of southeast Alaska near the Glacier Bay National Park, salmon-filled rivers attract hungry bears as they feast in preparation for the winter hibernation. On today's show, producer Dave Fulson and Sports Afield's James Reed join outfitter Gary Gray at his Alsek River Lodge, where both will be in search of the trophy bruins that haunt the area's rivers and rainforest. Close encounters with North America's apex predator are coming your way as we open the pages of Trigicon's World of Sports Afield.
My flight was in from Dallas and I hooked up with James Reed in Anchorage. At that point, James and I took a commercial flight into Yakutat, and as always on a hunt like this, you're hoping that all your gear shows up. Well, the most important piece of luggage is always good to see make the flight. As in most of Alaska's remote game country, wings are the way. A charter pilot's going to come in, he's going to pick you up, and he's going to drop you at camp, and James and I had all of our gear stowed, and we were actually ready to get in there and get our adventure started.
Alsek River Lodge is about 45 miles southeast of the town of Yakutat, which is really the jump-off point. Now, we flew into Anchorage and then to Yakutat, and then Gary's charter pilot picked us up and flew us right into Alsek River Lodge. And boy, it's just beautifully situated right on the river. It's right out the front door of your cabin, and boy, I was really excited to be here.
Well, we just flew in to Yakutat last night. We got into camp this morning, and of course you can't hunt bears or anything in Alaska on the same day you fly, so it's just kind of a day getting settled into the camp. And of course we're gonna shoot our rifle. Why don't we just run a couple down the range and make sure that we're on.
Sounds like a plan.
Put my ears on. After a quick check of the rifles, James and I were both ready to hunt, but as we said, you can't hunt the same day you fly, but you can still go out to the river and do a little bit of scouting. To say that James and I were both primed for the next day's hunt is an understatement.
That's bear number 7 for the day so far.
There were already a lot of bears on the river. It was obvious there were good salmon runs going up the creek, and the bears were certainly there. Just always a pleasure to watch these great carnivores, but the real thrill of the afternoon for me was 2 timber wolves that came out to feed. They also take advantage of the salmon run, and just to watch one of Alaska's other apex predators in their natural settings, man, that was a perfect finish to a wonderful day.
Dave Fulson is after the coastal grizzlies of southeast Alaska when Trigicon's World of Sports Afield returns.
The difference in the spring hunts that I've been doing in this fall season hunt is going to be that in the spring the bears are coming out of their dens high up in the mountains and you're always going up. But in the fall the bears are all going to be down on the salmon streams, and there's some great salmon streams that run through Gary's area. Now, depending on the levels of the water, some salmon streams are going to be better than others, but Gary had a couple that had good runs of sockeye, and you're actually going to be spending your time just really ghosting along those rivers, looking into pools where the bears are fishing, or the riffles where they're catching the salmon as they migrate upstream. So it's a different kind of hunt, but I'm pretty sure on a hunt like this you're going to see a lot more bears than you will on a typical spring hunt.
Well, it's 3:30 in the morning. We're getting packed up to head out. So far the weather's clear from what we can tell. We're going to head in different directions today. Just getting loaded up for a wet and long ride out to the bear country.
From Gary's Lodge to the salmon stream we'd be hunting is a couple of hours, and a lot of it through flooded country, so you use an ATV to get there. Once you get there, you unpack your gear, you put your waders on, and the rest of it's in on foot. And you walk carefully, you're always loaded, there's a lot of bears on the stream. You walk in, get a good vantage point, and your hunt starts.
The strategy for this type of hunting is we really like to get down to these rivers, and we sit on these riffles where the salmon have to cross, and the bears, they know where these spots are and they come out to fish for them. So we play the wind, and wind is absolutely critical when we're hunting these bears. When we get in there, and then it's just a waiting game. We're just waiting for these bears who work the rivers to come out and fish these riffles.
There's a good spot up here about 50, 60 yards. And there's an island in the river. Another creek comes out, and there's a riffle there. The salmon have to cross it. It's real shallow, and the bears come out. And we've seen good bears here, so we'll cut down in here and sneak up on that spot.
Well, this is the spot we could see from yesterday. That's downstream,
right.
and we saw 3 or 4 bears
That's
up
right.
here fishing. Okay,
Yep.
Yeah, beautiful. I'm following you.
Will a tough decision turn out to be a mistake? Only time will tell when Trijicon's World of Sports Afield returns.
You know, as a hunter, the older I get, the less I try to have preconceived ideas of exactly how a hunt's going to be, or the kind or size of animal that I'm going to take. But with that said, we all have goals, and on this hunt for me, considering how many bear were in the area, I was hoping to get something in close to the 9-foot range. Of course, a bigger bear would certainly been a bonus, but you know, a bear that's in that 9-foot range is a great brown bear anywhere that you hunt them. So that was kind of my goal, and you know, I knew we were going to see a lot of bears here based on, you know, James's past experience and some other guys I know that have hunted with Gary. So, you know, I was going to try to be pretty selective, but with all that said, pretty early in the hunt, a bear came out to fish that really made me test my resolve and my theory.
He's got a good boar head on him. That's a boar.
Oh, that's a nice bear.
Yeah.
I've been around brown bears enough to know pretty close to what I'm looking at when a bear steps out. And one afternoon, just a gorgeous boar walked out on a little bar to do some fishing, and Abe and I both looked at it, and we looked at it very hard. We looked at each other. We talked it over. We both decided that if the bear wasn't 9 foot, he was scaring it awful hard, and he's exactly the kind of bear that I told Abe that I would be happy to shoot.
We got a real good look at this bear and we watched him for a while, and it was a tough call. I mean, that bear was really pushing 9 foot. He was a beautiful bear, and it was just a tough decision to make.
Oh, please stop making a mistake.
I'm gonna be honest with you, it was truly one of the more difficult hunting decisions that I've ever had to make.
I'm gonna try to keep my voice down There's bears right here. There's bears right here. There's a bear here. And I just passed what was probably a 9-foot brown bear. We had him right in front of us for 20 minutes. The only reason I didn't shoot this bear, we saw an absolute monster about 400 yards down the stream at 3 o'clock. It's 5:30 right now. You know, there's a few times in hunting you've got to make a tough decision. This is my 4th brown bear hunt, by far the largest brown bear I've ever had my scope on. I had him at 150 yards, absolutely dead. Hard choice there, but we're gonna try to see if this big guy comes. That's a choice. That's one of the hardest choices I've had in my entire career.
Well, Abe and I looked at each other. We decided to sit very quietly till dark, back out, not let this bear know we were even there, so we left undisturbed. And on the way back to camp, I gotta tell you, my emotional gears were grinding just a little bit. We just passed a great bear.
We got back to lodge that night and we got out the video that we had taken of this boar. And we looked at it with Gary, and boy, it's just a nice boar. It's got a good boar head on it, good hump. It's got some good size and just a beautiful hide. And we all looked at it and thought, man, that bear's pushing 9 foot. It might go 9 foot. It's a good boar. And it was just a tough call to make. So the next morning we decided to head down there, and the plan was to wait, watch the same riffle, just hope for that big bruiser. He might stick his head out again and give us a chance. But if not, if this boar comes back out again, we decided to take him.
Lady Luck gives Dave a second chance at a big brownie on the river. The exciting outcome when Trijicon's World of Sports Appeal returns.
Do you think that's a bear from yesterday?
I think it is. I think it could be. Yeah, it's right where it came out yesterday.
No, I see the bushes. Look right there. The bushes are shaking.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going that way. We got a bear. Abe looked up the creek and he saw this thing coming. We saw a bear exactly here yesterday, a real chocolate bear. We nearly shot this bear yesterday, except we'd seen a monster down the creek. This is a big bear. Rain's starting to come back again. I don't know if he caught a fish, but yesterday he caught one and he went back in those woods, and you can see the bushes shaking, and he was moving at a pretty good clip. You could just see the trees shaking. So we're just gonna sit tight in the rain and see what he does. His head looked wide. Alaska's famous for fickle weather. One day it's beautiful and sunny, the next day it's raining buckets, and today was one of those days. The bears are used to the rain, but generally speaking, if they have a choice, they'll sit out a hard rain, and that's what you do, tough it out, and you sit and wait. Well, I'll tell you what, we've been sitting out here, it's about 6:30. We've been out here since about 10 o'clock this morning, and it has not stopped raining for 10 seconds. I mean, it has rained kind of like Forrest Gump rain. It's rained sideways, it's rained fat rain, it's rained rain coming back up in your face, if you can name it. It's rained it today.
Rain's letting up here a little bit. We just had some bears out here fishing in the rain. Doesn't bother them too bad, but when it lets up, a lot of times they like to, they'll come out of the brush, get active for a little bit.
But sometimes a long, wet, miserable wait will pay rewards. Abe and I looked up, and my reward stepped out of the bush straight into the salmon creek to do a little fishing. I'd let this big guy go once. I wasn't going to make the same mistake again.
That's a big bear.
Yep, that's a good bear. That's our bear.
That's last night's bear?
I believe so, yes. Yep.
Let's shoot this thing.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, let him walk out into the shallow water, right on that gravel bar there.
I'm gonna let him come as close as he'll come. I'm on him.
Yep, yep. Take him. Reload. Get back on him. Get back on him. He's running.
I'm on him.
He's down. All right. He's down. Oh, we got a dead bear.
Man, he dived right there, brother. That's that bear from last night. That is the bear from last night. Hey,
that'll work, Dave.
That is a beaut.
Good shooting.
Tell you what, we saw this bear. You have dilemmas in hunting. We were in here yesterday. We spent 13 hours sitting in one spot. We had a day that is so untypical of Alaska. It was sunshine and beautiful all day long, and the bears were swarming. Came out here today. This is more typical of Yakutat, Alaska.
Alaska weather, yeah.
That plan came together.
That's right.
I'm sure this is the same bear from last night.
I believe so.
Let's go see what kind of bear we've shot. Yes, sir. Well, it's been a pretty typical day of southeast Alaska. It's been wet, but boy, it's been a great day. We've just taken a great bear, and I tell you, Abe, we've seen a lot of bears. We've seen one great bear.
That's right.
But a really good bear in the hand worth a great bear down the creek.
That's right.
And I think we made the right decision. We saw this bear. We passed this bear, actually had him in our scope twice. Not that there was anything wrong with him the first time, but we had a great big bear headed our way. And I think we made the right choice. Abe, you're a fine bear guide, my friend.
Thank you, Dave. Congratulations. Good bear.
I couldn't be more happy.
Absolutely.
Couldn't be more happy.
All in all, it's just been a wonderful 10 days with Gary and Ginger Gray at the Alsic River Lodge. I tell you, this is just a first-class operation, and always that starts with first-class people. Typical hard-working Alaskans. They're a very can-do breed of people, and you know, Gary and Ginger work really, really hard at making sure their guests have a comfortable place to stay. You're not going to lose any weight on this trip, but you know, that combined with the great bear hunting, it truly has been one of the more memorable adventures of my career, and I absolutely will be back.
Trijicon's World of Sports Afield has been brought to you by Trijicon, Brilliant Aiming Solutions, DSC, the Dallas Safari Club, Ruger Firearms, Hornady Manufacturing, Accurate, Deadly, Dependable, the Wildlife Gallery Custom Taxidermy Studio, Leica Sport Optics, Boyd Harness Company, Global Rescue, anytime, anywhere, the Wild Sheep Foundation, and by Les Chameaux, handcrafted since 1927. Closed captioning by Les Chameaux, available at Orbis.com/Les Chameaux.